Hey guys, it's Sierra. Welcome to Salem Wellness Portal. I am trying to, there we go. I think I like it like that. I'm trying to get this camera together and like let it fit me. How are you guys doing? How are you guys doing? It's happening. We are in Uranus in Gemini. We are in a new it's a things are changing. Okay, first of all, did you guys, I really don't talk about politics a lot, but did you guys see what happened the night of Uranus and Gemini with at the White House? Like that's just crazy. Like I don't think, I mean, of course presidents probably been tried to be like assassinated before, but like to the point, to this extent, like we're living like how like God, like, and I love JFK. Like JFK, oh my God, one of my faves. Like, we're living in those type of times, but now it's just like actually people are trying to kill the people who are really doing bad things. And I don't know why that excites me, but it's just, yeah. I don't know. Maybe I might take that out. I don't know why. But it's some crazy stuff going down. And but also the reason why, you know what? Also the reason why Uranus and Gemini in the 1940s, that was World War II. That was like a lot of like violence too. It was also around the time, but it was also around the time when, you know, a lot of horrible things was happening in the world. I think, I don't know if it was Civil War. I think it's just World War II, from my understanding. I don't really follow too much. I love history, but I don't really follow it too much. But anyway, it's some beautiful things happening as well. It's not just, and that's why in last week when I used the word disruption, I don't like that word because disruption sounds yucky. It sounds very, it just sounds very like, ugh, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear about it. But it's also, disruption does not, is not bad, you know, and obviously you've been here long enough. We have a Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto went from a Capricorn to now Aquarius. So we have a lot of like different planetary changes, and now we have 7 planets still in Aries right now. I don't know about you guys, but in the beginning, as the planets was like going into Aries, I felt very determined, very ambitious, very like I have to do it, but kind of my energy has kind of slowed down now, and it's really like, okay, girl, you have to do this. This is a long-term thing. So we can't do everything in a day. We have to like slow it down and like take it one day at a time. And I don't know if you guys are feeling that, but that's how I'm feeling. But today, I actually wanted to make this video over the weekend, but I needed to rest. I really needed to rest this past weekend, and I'm happy I did rest because now I get to come on here today feeling with energy. And I'm also noticing that I want to make sure that I come on when I have good energy and when I am feeling like 100% ready to. But this past weekend, I was watching a movie. It's called Beautiful Creatures. And if you never heard of Beautiful Creatures, it's basically about two teenagers, and the boy Ethan, he basically has these dreams every night about the same person, and the person also ends up killing him, but he loves her. Then they have the girl, and for some reason, I don't know why, I cannot remember her name, which is so weird. OMG, why can I not remember her name? When I get her name, for some reason, her name just vanished out of my head. But when I get the girl is the main character, and she is very powerful. She's actually one of the most powerful witches in her bloodline. She's more powerful than her mother and more powerful than her cousin. And basically these two fall in love, and she is supposed to turn dark. And the reason why I'm because I also channeled a message from this, is because somebody's love life, somebody is going through this in their love life, and you could have been a, take it as it resonates. You could either be the feminine in this situation, or you can be the masculine. My shirt just unbuttoned. And take it as it resonates. But basically the feminine, she is meant to turn dark because she has a curse over her bloodline, because her great great grandmother, I think three greats, the great 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 grandmother, it was like around the wartime, and they killed the love of her life, and she used a forbidden spell which put a whole curse on all of the women that comes after her. So unfortunately, all of these women in her bloodline turns evil at the age of 16. But instead of this main character, and I'm gonna get her name because I hate that I don't know her name, and I can't, it's not coming to me. Lena, that's her name. Lena. Yes, I forgot her. I don't know why I forgot that, but her name is Lena, and she is more powerful than her cousin and more powerful than her mother. And her mother basically kind of like abandoned her. She changed schools a lot because things were kept on, because as she gets closer to her age, to her 16, that's when she's like her chosen era, her chosen era, where they are choosing her to, which side are you going to choose? But she actually chooses, she doesn't end up choosing bad or good. She ends up choosing both, and she finds the balance. And the reason why the reason why I'm also discussing this is because there could be something like this going on in your life, where maybe people have been trying to turn you into a darkness, because that's what they try to do in her. Some of her family members try to turn her dark, and some of them didn't. You know, the ones that really, they wanted, her mom and her cousin, they really wanted her to turn dark because they needed, of course, three. When you have a coven, like covens are three or more, right? So two is not enough. You need that extra person. So when you have three people, it's like the three most powerful witches, and threes represent that in a way. It represents a lot of power. And they needed her. So they tried everything to turn her dark. They messed with her boyfriend. They messed with her love life. They've done everything. And he's mortal. The only connection that they have is because their great 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 grandparents loved each other back in the day. So it's like the cycle has come to a point in history where it is now present again, because history repeats itself, right? So now they are needing to do differently. They are having to do something very, very differently in order for this to actually work out. And instead of Lena turning dark, they basically, the mom and Seraphine, which is her cousin, they basically set up a plan to kill the boyfriend, because if you experience, like, when you experience loss of someone that you love, it can turn you into another person. It can turn you into a really mean, nasty, evil person, because you've lost that love. When you lose love, it's a part of you that wants to have everyone be hurt too, right? Whether we want to admit it or not, this is a part of the human experience. Each and every one of us wants to be able to have someone experience what we're experiencing, because we're so hurt, because we're so angry, because we're so mad. And that is what they wanted for Lena. Obviously, this did not happen. Her uncle, who is a shapeshifter, was able to shapeshift and was able to take the bullet because he knew that if Ethan died, and he knew what the aunt and the mother was, the cousin and the mother was doing, and he knew if Lena died that he would not be able to help her come back from that darkness. He knew that it was over, that she would be done, that she would be in this darkness. So you can be experiencing something like this in your bloodline, or you can be experiencing something like this in your love life, where maybe your family does not want you to be with someone, maybe where you're seeing things not play out the way that you want to play out. Maybe time is moving and time is expiring, because that's also, she had time until she was fully evil, right? Until she became fully evil, until her 16th birthday. I think they had about maybe 30 something days or something like that between each other. And they had to figure it out. And she did end up figuring out. But the only thing is that her love would have to die. But it doesn't state which exact love. It doesn't state that it has to be the love of your life. It just has to be someone that you love. And as I'm watching this, I'm like, wow, like this is some real family lineage. Like this is some real deep, dark stuff that is been passed down from generation to generation and generation. And that's what we talk about on this channel. We talk a lot about how a lot of these things that are put on us are passed down from generation to generation, and how we can change them, and how we see in the movie that Lena and Ethan changes them. And she even gives up her right to not even love him anymore, just to keep him safe, because she felt like as long as she was out there, and as long as she had this evil inside of her, she could not fully become she could not fully love him the way. But as soon as, towards the end, as soon as he actually, and listen, and this is also too what we're going to talk about, it's fate. When things are fated, when you're meant to be with somebody, if they say that you are meant to be, you are always going to have a pull on something. You're always going to be put in a circumstance that brings you closer to that person. And I don't know, like, we just got to thank God on that one, I guess, because I can't explain it. I don't think no one in this world can explain it, but when it's fated, it's meant to happen. It's meant to be. And this is what happened, because towards the end, he's leaving and he still manages to find his way to her. He still manages to find a way to talk to her, to interact with her. He still finds that way to bring them together, because they're fated. They are meant to be. You cannot, when you're meant to be with someone, you cannot avoid. It does not matter. You can literally do everything in this lifetime to keep you apart, but when it's meant to be, you will be with that person. When it's fated, you're going to be with that person no matter what. And this is exactly what happened between Ethan and Lena. He was leaving for college and to go because he wanted to leave his small town. But towards the end, he ends up at the library there. Don't know anything. She erased everything. They don't have no type of relationship. He doesn't even know that they've been together this whole time or anything. So she basically lets him go. She lets him move on with his life. And he doesn't have any powers, but they have the power of love. And love is stronger than anything else in this world. And you see that throughout the movie. They show a lot of themes of love, a lot of themes of fate, a lot of themes of destiny, a lot of themes of what happens is meant to happen. And basically, he crosses the city line and he ends up stopping the car. Him and his friends ends up stopping the car. And he basically yells her name out. And she can hear it, and you see her eyes, because now she is good and evil. So she learned how to balance her masculine and her feminine. She learned how to balance her dark feminine and her light feminine. So she has a balance between each category and each person that lives within her. And it's really, and I've watched this movie so many times. Like something just told me like, let me watch it. Let me like rewatch it. And I was just drawn to it, and I loved this movie, and I wish that they came out with more. I know they have books as well on it, but watching it really showed me how much things can trickle in our bloodline and how much things are playing out that we don't even know is playing out. Like, that we don't even know, why are we ending up with these people? Why are we continuing to do certain things? Why are we having these issues? Like, what is happening? What happened in our bloodline that has now caused this ripple effect? And I talk a lot about bloodlines and about how if we don't see what's happening in reality, if we don't actually take heed to how we can change things, then we'll be repeating a lot of what our ancestors did, because she could have stayed evil, but she was chosen. She was the one who also was meant to not to stop this evilness in her family and to really witness, to have love, because no one in her family had love. They had to revert back to themselves. They had to stay hidden. They had to conceal themselves because of all the rumors of their evilness and of their witchery and of their powers, and because of the type of lifestyle they lived and because of what the town said about them. So they reverted back rather than them thriving in really who they are and what they can bring. And Lena kind of changed that for them, because it not only took away the curse of their bloodline being evil, because now her daughter gets to have a balance between her masculine and a balance of her feminine. And even with dark feminines, right? Because a lot of us, we don't talk a lot about the dark feminine and how a dark feminine can actually manifest a lot of our power. Because I don't know if you ever felt it, but I've felt being a dark feminine before, but also learning how to balance out the light feminine side of me, right? And that dark feminine, she feels bad. She feels powerful. She feels like, you better not with me today. Like, you know what I mean? And to have that, it's just like, ooh, it's like you just want to feel it. And that dark feminine, she will make you. And sometimes we can get out of control and get to the point where we're just hurting people on purpose, where we're just doing certain things on purpose because she gets a rise out of that power. She gets a rise out of the hurt. She gets a rise out of that darkness, right? And that's where we need to learn how to balance. So now, how do we balance out these dark and our dark feminine, our feminine, our masculine, our dark masculine? How do we balance out all of these things? And for me, how I've been balancing them out is listening to their voices, because each one has a different voice. Each one speaks very differently. Each one listens to different music. Each one does things move a different way. Like, each one they're literally different personalities. And this can help you with learning how to navigate who's in your head right now and who you need to put to the side. And I know it might sound crazy, like, what the bitch, this girl talking about who's in your head and who's this. But when you really think about it, all of us have these people in our head. We have the person that's telling us where to go, the person that's telling us what to do, the person, and it's all of us. It's you, but you just have different hats, right? you have an ambition, you have hope, you have scared, you have the little boy, you have the little girl, you have the woman, you have the man, you have all of these different people. So how I know that I'm in my dark feminine is the music that I listen to. So if I start listening to music that are like very raunchy and very okay, like you need to go sit down. I know that, okay, this bitch is feeling powerful because certain music, like if I start listening to like the Cardi B's, the if I start listening to like, the Megan Thee Stallions, the girls that will get you to sit your ass down, that is how I know that, okay, this dark feminine, she's coming on strong. She's coming on strong. But then I have, like today, I feel very chill, very feminine. I feel very like my regular feminine self. I can feel and I can receive today. That's how I feel. So she's more slower, more calm, more breathtaking, she's just more chill. Rather than sometimes my dark feminine, she can be a little bit she could be ready to go, she could be ready to like snap in a minute, versus the masculine who that's the person that gives me my drive. That's the person. So we have to learn to identify these people within us and how to balance them out. And honestly, I balance them out by tackling different things in life. So it might be a creative project that you're working on that maybe your feminine side might want more of, that might love more of. Your masculine side could be that part where you're working, you're putting in that work, right? Because that's what masculines represent, is like a provider, the protector. So whatever they are doing to protect you and provide for you, that can be where you're needing to have that type of energy come out. And then you have your dark feminine when you don't need it, also I feel like she doesn't have to be bad, but she or he can also be like the person that puts the boundaries up, the person that you don't tolerate any nonsense. Like, you're not tolerating this and I'm not having it. And that's that. It doesn't have to be necessarily just the, like doing bad, horrible things, but it can just be you having that boundary, you setting those boundaries, you knowing that you are who you are and that you cannot have people ride over you. That is also to the dark feminine. So everyone, it looks different for everyone, honestly. But I don't know. I think this people in the collective are going through this in their bloodline. You don't have to have real magic. You don't have to be your family doesn't have to practice witchery, or your family doesn't have to be in there. But let's look at our bloodlines and let's look at what are we doing what can we be doing differently that we can get different results from these outcomes, right? So just asking yourself things like that and being able to look at your love life and look at your family and see, do I want this to repeat? I also watched Little Fires Everywhere, which also bring up a lot of things that in our past and how we can change them and how we can move forward. And maybe I'll do Little Fires on a different episode. But these are things that I really just wanted to address because I've been addressing a lot of things in my bloodline that I am needing to see, because honestly, and I'm looking at it like, okay, how do I change this? Because I can't do this anymore. This can no longer, it has to stop here. Because if it doesn't stop here, we're never going to get anywhere better than just where we're at. And it's always better than where we're at, right? So take a look at the movie. I don't know if this video resonated with anyone. It was really just something that has been on my heart the weekend and I wanted to discuss. And, you know, if it resonates, then give this video a thumbs up. If you, if you would like to download my guidebook, I have created a guidebook on how to stop attracting the same people. So the guidebook is called Why Do I Keep Attracting the Same People and How to Stop. And if you want to learn more on how to do that, check out the description box below and you can download the guidebook, and it'll break down everything that you need to know and how to stop attracting the same people, right? Because we all want to meet our Ethan. We all want to meet the one person that is fated in our life and that is supposed to bring us to ourselves and learn how to teach us, help us navigate our masculine and our feminine, because every relationship has one. And when you're doing too much into it when you're having too much of that one side, sometimes the relationships really don't go well, and it's because you can be with the wrong person that you need at that time. So the guidebook is there for you. Download it when you're ready. And I thank you guys so much for being here, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.